Hello learners, welcome to Drishti CUET undergraduate program and I'm your mentor Shashank. Learners, today in last session we discussed about the fundamental rights. So continuing to the session and discussing the important topics of the Indian polity. So in today's session I will be discussing with you the topic of president and vice president. So topic of president and vice president that I will be discussing with you in today's session. So let's start the session for today and let's discuss about the president and vice president. Now guys, as you all know, ki president and vice president, they are the part of union executive. So whether it is president or whether it is vice president, both are the parts of union executive. So both are the parts of union executive. And union executive guys, union, it is defined in part 5 and the articles which is associated with the union. I am talking about the whole union, that is from article 52 to article 151. So article 52 to article 151 that discusses with the whole union, not only executive but legislature plus judiciary. So whole union that is being discussed in part 5, that is from article 52 to article 151, and this is mentioned in part 5 article 52 to article 151. That includes the union executive, union legislature and union judiciary. Union executive, that is the president, vice president, council of minister followed by attorney general. Then you have the union legislature, that is the parliament of India, both the houses, and then union judiciary, that is the Supreme Court. So this is the whole union legislature article, that is whole union article, that is from article 52 to 151. But in today's session, I will be discussing with you the union executive. So let's start with the topic, that is the President of India. And you can see in the photograph, these are the photos of the regular President of India. And present President is Mrs. Draupadi Murmu. She is the 15th regular president. 15th regular president of India. So she is 15th regular president of India, that is present president Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, and she is from Odisha. So she is also the first tribal president of India and second female president after Srimati Pratibha Devi Singh Patil. So after Srimati Pratibha Devi Singh Patil, she is the second female president and first tribal president of India. So let's start with the discussion about the president. And first of all guys, let's discuss about the introduction of president. That president is the head of Union of India and is also the first citizen of India. So head of Union of India is the president and is also the first citizen. First citizen guys, it is just an honorary rank which is given to the President of India. There is no power which is associated with this rank, that is of the first citizen. So whosoever be the President of India will be the first citizen. It is not like that only the present president is the first citizen of India. So whosoever be the President of India will be considered as the first citizen. And president is also the head of Union of India. Now guys, whenever we read about head, two things that usually comes. One is head of Union of India and one is head of Government of India. And simply the students gets confused between these two heads. So whenever we discuss about Union of India, the head is always president. The head is always the President of India, and whenever we talk about the head of Government of India, it is the Prime Minister. So it is the Prime Minister who is the head of Government of India. So President is the head of Union of India plus first citizen. And the present President of India is Srimati Draupadi Murmu. And Srimati Draupadi Murmu is the 15th regular president, as I have told you, the 15th regular president of India. And first tribal president, first tribal president, and also the second female president of India. Second female president of India, and you will find that she belonged to Odisha. So she is resident of Odisha, and she belonged to Santhal tribe. Santhal tribe. So she belonged to Santhal tribe. And one thing you should know, that before becoming the president of India, she was governor of Jharkhand. So before becoming president, before becoming president, she was governor of Jharkhand. So she was governor of Jharkhand, and then she contested the election of president, then defeated Yashwant Sinha in presidential election and became the president of India. And the concept of the post of president. So the concept of the post of president, it is adopted from USA. So from USA we adopted the post of president. So it is said that the post of president and vice president, it is adopted from US Constitution. So is that clear to all of you guys about the introduction of the president? And she is also the youngest president of India. So she is also the youngest president who is born after independence. So she is the youngest president of India, my dear learners, who is born after independence. So is that clear to all of you? Then do let me know. Then we'll proceed to the important articles related to the president. So then we will move to the important articles related to the President of India. So let's come to the important articles. First is Article 52. Article 52 guys simply says that there shall be a President of India and shall always defines compulsory condition. So it is defined compulsory or mandatory condition. So it is always defined compulsory or mandatory condition that there must be president of India. It is not like that without president the country can run. So it should, India must have president. So there shall be a president of India. This is introductory article. And Article 53 that discusses with the executive powers of the union shall be vested in president. Now, executive power of the union shall be vested in president. That means whatever the decision will be taken by government of India, that will be on the name of president. Other than this, you will find that all the important appointments like appointment of Prime Minister and Council of Minister, appointment of members and chairman of UPSC, appointment of members of appointment of CAG. Other than this, appointment of election commissioners and chief election commissioner, that is all did by president of India. So it is said that guys without, you will find that whatever decision government is taken by government of India, that is on the name of president, and also president appoints important authorities that I have mentioned you. So I hope it is clear to all of you. That simply means all the decisions taken by government of India is on the name of president, and president appoints. First is prime minister and council of minister, then members and chairperson of UPSC, then finance commission, then members and chairman of finance commission, chairperson of finance commission. Other than this, election commissioner, election commissioners and chief election commissioner, they are appointed by President of India. So other than this, CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, is also appointed by President of India. So these are the authorities who are appointed by President of India. So that also discusses with the appointing power of the President, which authorities they are appointed by President of India. So is that clear to all of you guys about Article 52 and 53? 52 simply it is the introduction of the President, and 53 that discusses with the executive power of President. Now guys, let's come to Article 54, that is election of President, and the nature of election is indirect election. What is the meaning of indirect election? Guys, in India we have two type of election. One is called direct election, one is called indirect. In direct election, the public, the voters, they participate and cast their vote. That is, the public participate and cast their vote, like the election of Lok Sabha, like the election of Vidhan Sabha, like the election of municipality, municipal corporation, like the election of panchayat. The people go and cast their vote. That means those who are eligible. Now there is an election in which the people do not participate directly. That is, the citizens of India who are eligible to vote, they do not participate directly. So the elected representatives of the people, they cast their vote. The elected representative of people, they cast their vote, and that type of election where the elected representative of people, they cast their vote, in which there is no direct participation of the public, that is called indirect election. That is, in indirect election, me and you will not participate. Our elected representative will participate. Like the election of president, election of vice president, election of Rajya Sabha, election of legislative council, you will find that there is no direct participation of public. Our elected representative cast their vote and choose them. So that is called indirect election. So the nature of election of president is indirect, because me and you do not go and cast our vote. So the nature of election is indirect. That means ki the elected representatives of the people, elected representatives of people, they cast their vote. They cast their vote. This is called indirect election. This is called indirect election, and the presidential election is indirect in nature, because there is no direct participation of public, because there is no direct participation of the public. Public means the citizens of India, who are allowed to cast their vote, who are allowed to cast their vote. So the nature of election of president is indirect election in nature. Now what is the name of the election system of the president? Name of election system, the name of election system is system of proportional representation by single transferable vote. So system of proportional representation by single transferable vote, that is the name of the election process of president. And you will find that, guys, it is through the ballot paper. So election is conducted through ballot paper, and ballot paper, guys, contains the names of the candidates who are contesting the election, and then you have to give the preference. So the electoral college gives the preference. Other than this, guys, it is conducted by Election Commission of India. So the election of president is conducted by Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India is authorized to conduct the election of president. Now guys, whenever you will find that whenever a person wishes to contest the president election, first of all he needs support of 100 electoral college member, out of which 50 will be proposers and 50 will be seconders. It is not like that everyone is eligible to contest the presidential election, not at all. So if anyone wish to contest the presidential election, he needs support of 100 members of electoral college. So 100 members of electoral college, out of which 50 will be proposers, 50 will be proposers and 50 will be seconders. And out of this, the proposer and seconder both should be different. That means those who will propose the name will not second the name, and then you have to deposit a security amount. So security deposit of rupees 15,000 is deposited in RBI. So security deposit of rupees 15,000 is deposited in RBI. Is deposited in. So in RBI you have to deposit 15,000 rupees as a security, and if the person gets 1/6 less than 1/6 of the valid vote, then the security deposit is confiscated. So if anyone gets less than 1/6 of the total valid vote, then you will find that the security deposit is confiscated. Is that clear to all of you guys? Then do let me know. Is that clear to all? Then do let me know. So I hope guys, is that clear that if you wish to contest the presidential election, minimum support of 100 members of the electoral college is needed, out of which 50 there will be proposer and 50 they will be seconders, and these both should be different. So it is the minimum support of 100 electoral college is needed. Now guys, come to the next thing, that is the qualification and condition to become the president of India. So what are the qualification and conditions to become president? First qualification is defined in 58 and condition in 59. So qualification is must be citizen of India. This is a compulsory qualification, and that does not mean that the person should be by born citizen of India. So simply the person should be citizen of India if he has acquired, or if he or she has acquired the citizenship of India, then also is eligible. But if you will see in the US Constitution, the person should be by born citizen of America. That means the person must have born in America. So that is the difference between US president and Indian president. So must be citizen of India, then age must be 35 years and above. So the minimum age should be 35 years, and there is no upper age. No upper age to become the president of India. And third is competent to become member of Lok Sabha. Competent means eligible enough. Eligible enough to become member of Lok Sabha. That person should be eligible enough to become member of Lok Sabha and should not hold office of profit. And this office of profit should not be under central government or state government. So should not hold office of profit under central or state government. So the person should not hold office of profit under central government or state government. So these are the qualification and conditions to become the president of India. Now guys, if the people of India, they do not participate, so who participate in the presidential election? That is the electoral college. Electoral college simply means who will participate in the election. So electoral college simply means if not the people, who will participate, or simply electoral college means who will participate in the election process. Now guys, as I have told you, presidential election is an indirect election. So definitely the people of India, they are not going to participate who are eligible for voting. Then who will participate? That is a big question. So, in indirect election of the president, all the elected members of parliament and state legislative assembly. So, all the elected members of parliament and state legislative assembly will participate. Here, the most important word is elected members. So, the most important word is elected members will participate, nominated members plus member of legislative council, they will not participate. So, all the members of the state legislative assembly, all the elected members of state legislative assembly and parliament, they will participate in the presidential election. So, here the most important word is elected. So, nominated members of parliament plus the members of state legislative council, will not participate. So, the members of state legislative council will not participate. So, nominated members of parliament plus the members of state legislative council, they are not going to participate in the election of president. So, is that clear to all of you guys who will participate and who will not participate? I hope this should be clear to everyone. Now, let's come to the next thing, that is the oath of the president. So, oath of the president is conducted by Chief Justice of India, and oath of Chief Justice of India is conducted by President. So, oath is conducted by the President of India, and the oath is mentioned in Schedule 3 of the Indian Constitution. Schedule 2 discusses with the salary allowances and emoluments, and Schedule 3 that discusses with the oath and affirmation. So, Schedule 3 of the Indian Constitution that discusses with the oath and affirmation of the President. Oath and affirmation of that is being discussed in the Schedule 3 that discusses oath and affirmation. Now, come to the next thing, that is the salary of the president. So, salary of the president is 5 lakh rupees per month. 5 lakh rupees per month, and it is charged on consolidated fund of India. So, the salary is charged on consolidated fund of India, and then you will find that ki after retirement they get pension as well. And you will find that ki other than salary, rent-free accommodation is also given. And the rent-free accommodation that is given to President of India is called Rashtrapati Bhavan. So, rent-free accommodation of the president is called Rashtrapati Bhavan, and Rashtrapati Bhavan, it is one of the biggest house for any president in the world. So, Rashtrapati Bhavan, that is rent-free accommodation, plus you will find that they get PBG, that is President Bodyguard, for their security. For their security, President bodyguards are there. Security of president, PBGs are there. PBGs means President Bodyguard. PBG, you must have seen the Jawans, they are mounted on cavalry, they are mounted on horse, they are and carrying a very big spear. So, they are called PBGs or President Bodyguard. You must have seen during Republic Day parade, and whenever the president they go outside, so they are always accompanied by PBGs, that is President Bodyguard. Now guys, next we have Article 56 that discusses the term of president. So term of the president is 5 years from date of joining the office. So 5 years from the date of joining office. And you will find that guys, that from 5 years on which the president joined office, that will continue. And Article 57 discusses the reappointment of president. Reappointment of president. And in India, the president can be reappointed numerous times. Numerous times, what I mean to say, that by the time he will continue winning the election of the president, he will continue to serve as the president. Therefore, guys, if I talk about the longest serving president of India, who is the longest serving president of India? That is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Is the longest serving president, and he served as the president from 1950 till 1962. So from 1950 till 1962 he served as the president. Now how? From 1950 to 1952 he served as interim president. Interim president means temporary president, and from 1952 to 1962 he served as regular president. He served as regular president. That is the Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who is also known as Ajat Shatru of Indian politics, and he was highly intellectual personality and was from Bihar. So there is a district in Bihar called Siwan, and there is a place in Siwan called Ziradei. So he was from the Ziradei village of Siwan district, and he was very intelligent personality as well from his childhood, and he was a very popular figure in Indian politics. And on birthday of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, that is on 3rd December, you will find Advocates Day is celebrated in India because himself was an advocate. Now guys, the shortest serving president. Shortest serving president was Dr. Zakir Hussain. Zakir Hussain was the shortest serving president because he died on the post, because he was the president who died on his post, because he was the president who died on his post. He was the president who died on his post. So he was the shortest serving, less than 2 years he served as the president. And if the examiner asks you the question, how many presidents of India died on his post, how many president of India died on his post, then your answer will be 2 president. First is Dr. Zakir Hussain, who was the 3rd regular president. And then we have the 5th president, that is then we have the 5th president whose name was Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed was the 5th president who died on his post. So he was 5th regular president, in fact. 5th regular president. Other than this, guys, if you will note that the first female president, we all know, Mrs. Pratibha Devi Singh Patil, and second female president, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu. Other than this, guys, if I talk about the president of India who was elected unopposed. President of India who was elected unopposed. Unopposed means there was no one who contested against him. So whenever you will find that whenever the presidential election happens, some person contest against each other. So there is contest, there is election between the president, there is election for the presidential post. Like for Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, Mr. Yashwant Sinha contested against him, although he was defeated, and then Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, she became the president of India. So there is a president of India who was elected unopposed. That means against him no one contested against him, and that was Dr. Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. So Dr. Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. So Dr. Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy was the president against whom none of them contested, and you will find that he was the president, he was elected unopposed, he was from Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh, he was ex-chief minister, then Lok Sabha speaker, then became president. So he was ex-CM of Andhra Pradesh, ex-chief minister, then he became Lok Sabha speaker. Then he became Lok Sabha speaker as well. So he was the president who was elected unopposed. That means none of the candidate contested against him. Other than this, guys, next we are going to discuss, that is the resignation. This is the resignation of the president. So if President of India wishes to resign, that is defined in Article 56 clause 1, the resignation is given to the vice president. So President of India gives resignation to the vice president. But guys, till now none of the president of India, they have resigned. So till now none of the presidents of India, they have resigned. So there is no president of India who has resigned so far. So is that clear to all of you? Is that clear to all of you guys? Now let's come to the next thing, that is about the impeachment of the president. Let's come to the next topic. This is the impeachment of the president. So let's come to one more topic, that is the impeachment of president. Let's come to the topic of impeachment of president. So let's come to the topic of impeachment. Impeachment of president, it is defined in Article 61A. So it is defined in Article 61A. This is about the impeachment of president, and impeachment means the untimely removal of president from his post. Untimely removal of the president from his post. So Article 61A that discusses with the impeachment of president. So Article 61A. So this is Article 61A, not capital A guys, it's small a. So it's not capital A, it is small a. That defines, that is the untimely removal of the president from his post, and process of impeachment. Process of impeachment. It is adopted from US, adopted from US Constitution. And the ground of impeachment. Ground of impeachment is violation of Constitution. Violation of Constitution. So if president does anything which is against the Constitution of India, then the president will be impeached. So violation of Constitution, technically guys, what exactly is violation of Constitution? This is also not defined in Constitution. So what is violation? What is violation of Constitution? It is also not defined. It is also not defined in Indian Constitution. It is also not defined in Indian Constitution what exactly is the violation of Constitution. So it is also not defined in Constitution of India, and you will find that the violation of Constitution and the process of impeachment of president can be initiated in any house of parliament, can be initiated in any house of parliament, in any house of parliament. So the violation impeachment process of the president can be initiated in any house of the parliament. So this is an important point, and that you should remember as well. So I hope guys it is clear to all of you, and none of the president of India, none of the president of India has been impeached so far. So none of the president of India has been impeached so far. So till now guys, none of the president is impeached, and none of the president has resigned. None of the president has resigned from the post. None of the president has resigned from the post. So I hope guys, is that clear to all of you? I hope that should be clear to all of you, that none of the president of India they have resigned, none of the president of India they have impeached. So is that clear to everyone? So now guys, this was about the president of India. This was about the president of India. Now we are going to discuss the vice president. So now we are going to discuss the vice president of India. So now let's discuss the vice president of India. Now let's discuss the vice president of India. Now guys, if I talk about vice president of India, so vice president is the second highest post. It is the second highest post after president of India. So after president of India, which is the second highest post, is the vice president, is the second highest rank in the country. And the office of vice president, it is also adopted from USA. So office of vice president is adopted from USA. That means office of president and vice president both are adopted from US. And the present vice president of India is Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, and he is resident of Rajasthan. So he is resident of Rajasthan and defeated Margaret Alva in the vice presidential election, and defeated Margaret Alva in election of vice president. And before becoming vice president, before becoming vice president, he was governor. He was governor of West Bengal. He was governor of West Bengal. So before becoming vice president, dear learners, Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, he was serving as governor of West Bengal. So after when he was nominated for the vice presidential election, then he resigned from the post of governor, contested the election, defeated Margaret Alva, and then he became the president of India. Sorry, Vice President of India. Then he became the Vice President of India. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now let's come to the next thing, that is the important articles which is related to the Vice President. Let's discuss the important article. First important article is Article 63, that says that there shall be Vice President of India and shall always defines compulsory conditions. Shall always define compulsory condition, that it is compulsory to have Vice President of India. One thing you should note, my dear learners, that is Article 61. This is for the impeachment of President. So one thing you should note, that is from impeachment, is Article 61. Impeachment of President, it is defined in Article 61. Article 61, and impeachment means untimely removal of President from his or her post. Okay, that is only Article 61. Now come to Article 63, that discusses there shall be Vice President of India, and Vice President means it is compulsory to have Vice President of India. Next we have Article 66, that discusses with the election of Vice President, how Vice President is elected. Now guys, as I have told you, in India we have two type of election process, direct election and indirect election. So in election of President, the people of India who are eligible to cast their vote, they do not participate. Same condition is with the Vice President of India. So in the case of Vice President of India, what will be the nature of election? That will be indirect election, because me and you do not participate in the election of Vice President. So nature of election is indirect election in nature. Then what is the name of the election? Name of the election is system of proportional representation by single transferable vote. So the same name, that is with the President of India, and the election is did. The election is did through secret ballot. The election is did through secret ballot. That means election is did through ballot paper. Now what happens? On the ballot paper, the name of the candidates are written who are contesting vice presidential election, and the elective members of the electoral college, they give preference. They write the preference 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, on which candidate they are giving first, to which candidate they are giving second, third, and so on. So the name of the election system is same as with the President of India, and it is also done through secret ballot. Now what is the electoral college? If the people of India who are eligible to vote, they do not participate, then who will participate? So it is all the members of the parliament. So all the members of parliament will participate. Now what is the meaning of all the members? All the members. All the members of parliament means, all the members means elected members plus nominated. Here both will participate. Elected plus nominated. All the members means elected plus nominated. And parliament means house of the parliament, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So all the members of parliament means Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and you will find that there is no involvement of state legislature in vice presidential election. So there is no involvement of state legislature in vice president election. So there is no involvement of state legislature in election of vice president. I hope it is clear to everyone. Other than this guys, other than this, you will find that no involvement of state legislature. Now guys, you will find that the election of vice president, election of vice president. It is conducted by whom? So it is conducted by Election Commission of India. So it is conducted by whom? So it is conducted by Election Commission of India. So Election Commission of India conducts the election of vice president, and if any person wishes to contest the vice president election, he needs the support of 40 members of electoral college. So if any person wishes to contest the vice president election, they need support of 40 members of electoral college. Members of electoral college. And here electoral college we have always the MPs, because there is no participation of MLAs, only 40 MPs you need, out of which 20 will be proposers and 20 will be seconders. Out of which 20 will be proposer, 20 will be seconder, and both should be different. And both proposer and seconder should be different. So both proposer and seconder should be different. So they need support of 40 members of electoral college, out of which 20 will be proposer. This is minimum support. This is minimum support of 40 members is needed, out of which 20 will be proposer, 20 will be seconders, and both will be different. And security deposit of 15,000 rupees will be deposited in RBI. So you will find that security deposit of 15,000, it is deposited in RBI. So security of 15,000, it is deposited in RBI. So security amount is same for the president and vice president, that is 15,000, and it is deposited in RBI. I hope guys, is that clear to all of you? Is that clear to all of you guys? Then do let me know. Okay, so this was about the important articles that is related to the vice president. Now let's come to the qualifications. Qualification guys, that is defined in article 66 clause 3. What are the essential qualification to become the vice president of India? So the essential qualification to become vice president is you must be citizen of India. This is compulsory that you should be citizen of India. Age should be 35 years and above. So that is minimum age should be 35 years, and there is no upper age. There is no upper age to contest the election, and the person should be competent to become member of Rajya Sabha. Competent to become member of Rajya Sabha, what does it mean? It means ki eligible enough. The person should be eligible enough to become member of Rajya Sabha. That does not mean ki while contesting the presidential or while contesting the vice presidential election you should be member of Rajya Sabha. That does not mean. It simply means ki you should be eligible enough to become member of Rajya Sabha. Other than this, must not hold office of profit under central or state government. So must not hold office of profit under central government or state government. So these are the qualification to become the vice president of India. Now next is article 69 that discusses the oath of the vice president. An oath of the vice president, as you see, it is conducted by President of India. So President of India conducts the oath of vice president. And what is the term of vice president? The term of vice president is 5 years from date of joining office. So this is also same, 5 years from date of joining office, that on the day on which he will join the office, that will be 5 years from date of joining office. And third is article 61A, that is eligible for re-election, and eligible for re-election numerous times, and is eligible for re-election numerous times. Now, what does it mean? It means that by the time the person is getting elected, he will continue or she will continue to serve as Vice President of India. Guys, till now, there are two Vice Presidents of India who served longest. So, longest serving Vice President of India. Who are the longest serving Vice President of India? So there are two people who are longest serving Vice President. One is Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, he served Vice President from 1952 to 1962. And then you have Mr. Hamid Ansari, 2007 to 2017. So they both of them serve 2 terms. So these are the longest serving Vice President of India, and Vice President who died on his post, that was Krishnakant. Vice President who died on his post, that was the 10th Vice President, that was Mr. Krishnakant. Mr. Krishnakant was the only Vice President of India till now who died on his post. So till now he is only one. Till now he is only one Vice President of India who died during his term. I hope guys, is that clear to all of you who was the first Vice President of India who died on his post? That was Mr. Krishnakant. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now let's come to the next thing, that is about the working of Vice President. Technically what Vice President does. So the working of Vice President, guys, it is defined in Article 64 and 65. Article 64 says कि Vice President is ex officio Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Ex officio Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now what is the meaning of ex officio Chairman? Ex officio simply means कि where post is appointed, not the person. So where post is appointed, not the person, that is called ex officio. For example, let's take an example to understand this thing properly. Who is the chairman of Niti Aayog? Who is the chairman of Niti Aayog? Then your answer will be then your answer will be Prime Minister of India is the chairperson of Niti Aayog. Not you will say Mr. Narendra Modi. In future, if some other will become the Prime Minister, then will become the chairman of Niti Aayog. So on chairman of Niti Aayog, we have appointed whom? So we have appointed Prime Minister of India. So Prime Minister is the name of a post. Similarly, as a chairman of Rajya Sabha, we have appointed Vice President of India. So whosoever be the Vice President of India will directly become ex officio chairman of, will become chairman of Rajya Sabha. So that is called ex officio chairman, where post is appointed, not that person. So as a chairman of Rajya Sabha, we have not appointed Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, we have appointed Vice President of India. So whosoever be the Vice President of India will become the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So as a chairman of Rajya Sabha, Vice President is appointed. Vice President is, so as a chairman of Rajya Sabha, Vice President is appointed. So technically Vice President becomes the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Next is कि Vice President can act as President. when the post of president is vacant. So when the post of president is vacant, then only vice president can act as president. So on regular condition, vice president cannot work as president. Vice president can work as president in one condition, when the post of president is vacant. Vacant because of any reason. Either president has resigned, or president has impeached, president has died. So in that condition, you will find that ki vice president takes the charge of the president and work as the president of India, and vacancy can be created for through resignation, through impeachment, through death. The vacancy can be created. Now guys, as I have told you, two times the president of India died. Two times. So when Zakir Hussain Sahab died, at that point of time, VV Giri, Varahagiri Venkat Giri was the vice president. So he took the charge of acting president. Now when Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed died, at that point of time, the vice president was BD Jatti, Basappa Danappa Jatti. So BD Jatti took the charge of temporary president. I hope it is clear. Now, one thing you should note that guys, a vice president can act as president for maximum period of 6 months. A vice president can act as president for a maximum period of 6 months. So a vice president can act as president guys for a maximum period of 6 months. Within 6 months, the Election Commission of India will choose the new president and will put him on the post. So by the time within 6 months, the vice president, the Election Commission of India will conduct the election of the president and will put the president on that post. Now, the newly elected president will not complete remaining term, will continue to serve as a president for a fresh 5 years. You might be thinking guys, if president, for example, let's suppose that president of India died and he already worked for 3 years. Now, vice president election happened, again within 6 months the election of the vice president took the charge, and very soon the election was announced and election happened. So the newly elected president will complete the remaining term, or will work, or will have a fresh 5-year term. So your answer will be that the newly elected president will have fresh 5-year term, will not complete the remaining term. So the newly elected president will work as a president for next 5 years. It will not be like that the newly elected president will complete the term of the remaining term of the last president and will retire from the post. Not at all. So he will serve the fresh term of 5 years. So I hope guys, is that clear to all of you? And two things that you should note, that I should write, in fact, after the death of Zakir Hussain, in fact, Dr. Zakir Hussain, after the death of Dr. Zakir Hussain, VV Giri, who was the vice president at that point of time, took the charge of president. And after the death of Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, it was BD Jatti. BD Jatti was vice president and he took the charge of president, and he took charge of. And one question guys that comes in your examination, that I have seen multiple times, this question has appeared in the examination, but till now it has not been appeared in CUET UG, that who is the only Chief Justice of India who served as who served as temporary president. So only Chief Justice of India who served as temporary president, then your answer will be what? Then your answer will be the only Chief Justice who served as temporary president. Then your answer will be Justice Muhammad Hidayatullah. Justice Muhammad Hidayatullah. He was the only Chief Justice of India who served as a temporary president. Now guys, by the time a person is serving as a president, he will get all the perks, privileges of the president, not for their former post. Like when B.D. Jetty served as the president of India, at that point of time, he will be getting the salary, perks, privileges of the president, not vice president. Now, how Justice Muhammad M. Hidayatullah became the President of India, temporary president? There is a very interesting story. When Dr. Zakir Hussain died, V.V. Giri, who was the temporary president, who was the vice president, became temporary president. Now, Indira Gandhi declared V.V. Giri as a presidential candidate. So, V.V. Giri resigned from the post of vice president. Now, president has died, vice president has resigned from the post. Technically, both the posts are vacant. So, if president is absent, then vice president will take charge. If vice president is also absent, then the choice will be the Chief Justice of India. So, at that point of time, Chief Justice of India was Justice Muhammad Hidayatullah. So, he took the charge and worked as a temporary president. Then presidential election happened, and again V.V. Giri won the election of the president and served as a regular president for 5 years. So I hope guys, is that clear to all of you ki how Justice Muhammad M. Hidayatullah became the acting president of India, although he was not vice president. So if president and vice president both are unavailable, then Chief Justice of India will serve as a temporary president. I hope it is clear. Now guys, let's come to the next thing, that is the removal of the vice president. Removal of the vice president, it is mentioned in 67B, and it is directly being written that the process of removal of vice president can be initiated in Rajya Sabha only. So the process of removal of vice president is initiated in Rajya Sabha only, but what exactly is the ground of removal of vice president? It is not mentioned in constitution. What exactly are the ground of removal of vice president? It is not mentioned. Directly it is being mentioned that the process of removal of vice president will be initiated in Rajya Sabha only, and till now none of the vice presidents have been removed. None of the vice president have been removed so far. Other than this guys, let's discuss the resignation. Resignation, it is defined in Article 67A, and resignation is given to the President of India, and till now none of the vice president has resigned. None of the vice president has resigned. And then we have the salary. Salary is 4 lakh rupees per month, and this is charged on Consolidated Fund of India. This is charged on Consolidated Fund of India. So the salary of the president is charged on, plus salary of vice president, both are charged on Consolidated Fund of India, and this is the fund which is held by Parliament. Now next we have dispute related to election of president and vice president, that is defined in Article 71. So Article 71 simply says that if there is any type of dispute that arises in the election of president and vice president, so who is going to solve the dispute? Who is going to solve the dispute? So it is said that if there is any type of dispute that arises in the election of president and vice president, the authority that can solve the dispute is the Supreme Court. So the authority that has to solve the dispute of president and vice president is only the Supreme Court, and whatever the decision Supreme Court will give, that will be full and final. That means it cannot be challenged in anywhere. So whatever the decision Supreme Court gives, that cannot be challenged anywhere. So this is about the dispute related to president and vice presidential election. Now guys, let's come to the question answer so that we can revise this topic properly. The post of president and vice president is adopted from constitution of which country? Post of president and vice president. Options are Britain, US, France, Germany. So it is adopted from USA. So correct answer will be option 2. This is US. Next is which authority empowered to solve the dispute in election of president and vice president? So which authority can solve the dispute of president and vice president? Is it Delhi High Court, Supreme Court, Election Commission of India, or Lok Sabha Speaker? So correct answer will be option 2. This is the Supreme Court of India that solves the dispute related to president and vice president. Article 71. Now the electoral college of vice president consists of electoral college of vice president, that means who participate in the vice presidential election. All the members of parliament, all the members of Lok Sabha, members of Rajya Sabha, all elected members of parliament. So electoral college of the vice president consists all the members of parliament. All the members means elected plus nominated. Elected plus nominated. So correct answer will be option 1, all the members of parliament, whether they are elected or nominated. Next we have ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha is. So who is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha? Prime Minister, President, Vice President, or Cabinet Secretary? So who is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, my dear learners? So correct answer will be option 3. This is Vice President of India. So this is the Vice President of India who is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now next question we have how many times President in India can be re-elected? So how many times President of India can be re-elected? Options are 2, 3, 4 or no limit. So what will be the correct answer? How many times the President of India can be re-elected? And the correct answer will be option 4. That is, there is no limit for re-election. So by the time the person continues to win the vice presidential or presidential election, will continue to serve as the president or vice president of India. So there is no upper limit for the re-election. So guys, I hope through this section, through this discussion, you must have got the insights about the president and vice president topic, and you must have understood the things well. So that was all for the day. Let's meet in the next session.